Call the roll.
Chief Judge Pro Tem Larry Williams has requested an excuse. Pastor Eddie Williams Jr.
Here.
Deputy Chief Tiffany Stewart has requested an excuse. So has Andrea Smith, Janella Robinson. Judge Donald Knapp. Norris J. Howard.
Present.
Armand R. Harris has requested a temporary excuse. Chief Robert Dunlap.
Present.
Sam Sharikian has requested an excuse. Paul Bruno.
Present.
Chief Judge Pro Tem David Braxton has also requested an excuse, and Chair Omar Clark Coleman.
Here,
We have a quorum present.
thank you. Okay, next item.
Item B, remarks from the chair.
Well, welcome to our first meeting for 2024. And thank you all for being here and being so prompt. I appreciate it. Because I've had a long day. Starting with the chair's breakfast early this morning at 7:30. So it's been, and then commission meetings, it's been a long day. So we're gonna move right along. So can I have, and the next item, Madam Chair?
Item C, approval of the September 13, 2023 meeting minutes.
Can I have a motion for the minutes, for approval of the minutes of September 13, 2023? Okay. That, right. Thank you. Did you get that?
I did, yes.
Okay. All right. So next, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Next item.
Item D, unfinished business. There is none listed. Moving to item 1 under new business, review and approval of the fiscal year 2024 funding budget.
Okay. Ebony, you're on.
Good afternoon. Through the chair, Ebony McCann, Wayne County Transition Services, Department of Health, Human Services, Health, Human and Veteran Services. There is a correction needed to item 1 under new business. This honorable body has previously approved the fiscal year 2024 funding budget. The purpose of today's meeting is to review and discuss the Q1 report, which you have in front of you. So if you can, no one's missing anything, you guys approve the fiscal 2024 funding budget. And if you'd like, I can reshare it for your viewing purposes. But we began fiscal year 2024 on October 1. As it pertains to the quarterly report, which is, Octavia is going to pull it up on the screen because it's my understanding that the font is too small. This report is due.
It's tiny. I thought it was just my eyesight.
No, it's small. As a component or a stipulation of our agreement with the Michigan Department of Corrections, Office of Community Corrections, this report is due to them quarterly. The report outlines our program, expenditures, utilization, and it also includes the budgeted amount for the fiscal year. Michigan Department of Corrections utilizes this report to determine whether or not programs are being effectively used. And then it's our responsibility as a body, if they aren't being effectively used, to determine whether or not we need to modify or reconfigure what it is that we're offering as it pertains to programming. So I will start with the first vendor or first program. The vendor is Lake Ridge Village. It is, and they provide, a 30-day jail-based program, which you may recall it's referenced as Jail Plus 3. And we're trying to get away from that language because Jail Plus 3 was around for 20 some odd years and with a different vendor. And so we're trying to get accustomed to acknowledging Lake Ridge as the vendor that's providing this program. And so the 30-day program takes place inside the jail. Lake Ridge projected to enroll 80 participants this fiscal year. So at the time of this report, and the reporting period is for fiscal 1, so October 1 through December 31st of 2023. To date, Lake Ridge has admitted 25 new enrollments and provided service to 13 carryovers from the previous fiscal year. Based on those numbers, it appears that Lake Ridge is on track to exceed their projected utilization for the fiscal year. As of, December 31st, Lake Ridge was reimbursed $24,580 for the services that they rendered. All community corrections funded programs are fee-based, and vendors are only paid based on the services that they provide. Lake Ridge has several key performance measures that they submitted and were approved by the Michigan Department of Corrections. And it just states that all enrollments or enrollees must have a pre and post test administered. And so they were in compliance with that component or that metric of the 25 participants who were enrolled. To date, all 25 were administered the pre and post test.
What?
Pre and post. So once
Pre
they
and post.
enter and then complete the program.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't have any issues with Lake Ridge at this time, no areas of concern. The trauma-informed care line item is it's vacant at this time. We are, and I think we discussed at our previous meeting that we were entering or planning to enter into a agreement with Black Family Development. I can share that that contract is with Black Family Development, and they are reviewing the contract for female trauma-informed care. An additional component of that program, we are going to allow them to accept or admit men on an as-needed basis. So it's obviously no secret that in addition to women, men face and have encountered trauma. And so we want to be able to provide this community-based program to them as well. Black Family Development is on board to make this provision, and they are reviewing the contract, the documents, and ensuring that their scope of work aligns with being able to provide gender-specific programming for both men and women. So the men and women will have separate programming. We did allocate $150,000 for that particular program. I'm not certain if they will be able to meet or exceed their projected enrollment, but they have, as a courtesy, continued providing programming as a result of the need to address trauma that our women face in our community. Next is ETRS DVT, which is jail-based. It's a jail-based program that Education Training Research Services provides inside of the Wayne County Jail. They projected to provide 45 new enrollments for their jail-based program, which is a 90-day program. Since fiscal year or since October 1 through December 31st, they have admitted 7 new enrollments and provided programming to 4 that carried over from fiscal year 2023. So obviously we are tracking that number to see how we can drive enrollments to that particular program. We'd like to see more individuals, and we know that domestic violence is an issue in our community, and there are by far more individuals that we feel may benefit from the programming. And so as a result, Community Corrections has been in conversations with Judge Deborah Thomas, who is over the domestic violence docket at Third Circuit Court. And so it's our hope that through those discussions that we'll see an increase in enrollments for the jail-based component of domestic violence. No, not yet. I think there have been discussions.
No.
Later this year.
Oh, because I know that I talked with her and she told me she was retiring, so.
Hasn't happened.
That's good news. I'll talk to her again before she retires.
Yeah. Okay. I think her time is up. Right, that's what it is. Her term is up
Her
And-
term ends at the end of the year.
and you can't run again.
He's aged out
She's
under the
aged.
Michigan Constitution, just prevent her from running again.
Yes, that's what it is. Okay. That's what, that was what the conversation was.
As it pertains to the community-based jail domestic violence program, ETRS is the vendor that provides that service as well. They projected to enroll 100 new enrollments for fiscal year 2024. And to date, they have enrolled 30 new enrollments and provided service to 57 that carried over from fiscal year 2023. And so we're seeing that judges are sentencing individuals to the community-based domestic violence program. I do anticipate that ETRS will meet and/or exceed their projected utilization by the close of this fiscal year. As it pertains to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office GPS tether, we provide GPS tethers to those individuals that have been identified on a pretrial basis. We track their appearance rate as well as their compliance with the terms and conditions of their pretrial conditions, as well as the public safety rate. And so to date, there have been 103 new enrollments on GPS tether, which is overseen by the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. They projected 400 new enrollments. Every year, we almost meet or exceed the projected amount of enrollment on GPS tether. We don't have any issues. We work closely with the classification unit as well as the tether unit. They provide us monthly data to so that we're able to track the appearance rate and public safety rate for those individuals.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Wayne County Sheriff's Office Adult Fugitive Apprehension. This service is provided for those individuals who have been sentenced to a term of a specialty court probation, so drug court, mental health court, veterans treatment court, and/or those individuals who have absconded from a PA 511 residential facility. So both the Michigan Department of Corrections contracts with the local residential treatment centers, and the Wayne County Sheriff's Office has contracts with those similar vendors as well. And if at any point a defendant absconds from a treatment center, they fail to comply with the rules and regulations of that treatment center, that center can issue a bench warrant to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, and then apprehension efforts ensue. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office is paid a one-time fee for the actual referral. So they don't receive payment whether or not the individual is apprehended or not. But at the onset of the referral, we reimburse the Wayne County Sheriff's Office is reimbursed for those efforts. 5-day housing is another component or another service that the Wayne County Sheriff's Office provides. In this 5-day allows for our drug treatment provider, which is ETRS. They provide drunk driving, jail reduction. These 5 days, allow the vendor to make a viable assessment of the inmate at that time and determine what their course of treatment shall be. And so we give them up to 5 days to complete or conduct that assessment because it can be lengthy. They administer a substance use disorder assessment. They follow up with the Michigan Department of Corrections prior to the individual being admitted to the program just to see if that agent believes that he or she would be a good candidate for the program. And then at the conclusion of that 5-day housing or prior to that individual being released from the jail, he or she has instructions regarding what community-based treatment looks like, and they are provided with instructions as to where they are to meet in the community. And then that leads me to ETRS DDJR outpatient services. ETRS has 3 different locations inside of Wayne County or within Wayne County. They have a Detroit office, a Taylor office, as well as an office in Livonia. And so individuals who have been identified as eligible and sentenced or ordered to participate in outpatient drug treatment services continue that program or programming in the community. It's a 26-week substance use disorder program, and the vendor is responsible for maintaining monthly communication or monthly contact with the Michigan Department of Corrections just to inform that agent of the status and compliance or non-compliance issues of their probationer who has been sentenced to participate in that program. Lastly, the Community Violence Prevention Program has not an RFP or agreement has not gone out yet. I can provide a little, I'll provide a program update once this report has been approved. That concludes my report, Commissioner.
Okay. Are there any questions or, yes, Bruno?
I'm wondering, Ebony, can you expand a little bit on the domestic violence?
I turn your,
mic,
Oh,
please. Thank you.
it's on, but pull it closer to you. Or pull your handle down.
Could you expand a little bit on the domestic violence participants?
Pull it closer to you.
What I'm wondering is, are there participants who don't take the program seriously, for instance, and what percentage might that be? And what happens if they don't take it seriously?
So I can share with the board the actual successful or unsuccessful completion rate at the conclusion of this meeting. But in the event that a participant unsuccessfully or does not comply with the rules and regulations of that treatment program, their agent is then informed, and then the agent follows whatever protocols or procedures they have in place to address that non-compliance. It may result in an amendment to their order of probation. So the judge may then step in to determine that you are not a viable candidate for treatment. And so we're going to either send you to or sentence you to a county jail term, or in some instances, a term of prison. But MDOC is informed when those individuals do not comply with the rules of programming, and then they follow whatever program or protocols and procedures they may have in place. Ms. Robinson from MDOC can speak further if she'd like.
So if that is the case, there we go. The court is notified of the individual's behavior. In some instances, we would be making a recommendation on what we might feel would be most appropriate in that situation. But the judge makes a final decision on what course of action to take, of course, from the behavior. So it looks like in this one in particular, we're talking about if a person is sentenced to domestic violence program and they don't complete it successfully, when we take that information to the judge, generally we'll have some level of a recommendation on a course of action. Sometimes we may look at what was the reason. Need to send them to a different program, or if there was issues with regards to transportation, childcare assistance, it could be some other, factors as to why the person may not. I know Ebony said she would speak about it a little bit later on the specifics of it, but there can sometimes be some reasons why a specific program may not have worked out for that particular person, and we can direct them somewhere else.
Thank you.
So they do get another shot at it, huh?
We will try to see. We definitely want to find out what happened without just simply violating a person right away and asking that the bench issue a warrant for the person arrest. It may be some other factors that prevented the person from completing the program. But if in fact they just simply was negligent and failed to go or refused to go, then of course that goes right to the judge to make a determination from there.
Okay. Yes. Did you have something, Pastor Williams?
How to get this thing on. Okay. Did you explain something for the community violence prevention, or did I?
No, I'm going to cover that under program updates.
Okay, all right.
Anyone else?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know if we have this information, and I know you're giving a quarterly report on usage at this point, but one of my questions would be with regards to those individuals who abscond from the treatment programs, and then efforts are being made to be apprehended by the Wayne County sheriffs. You spoke about not just those who are from specialty court, but those who may abscond from probation residential services or treatment in one of those agency locations. Do we have any information to be able to give us an update on how many people are actually apprehended versus the number of just referrals that are made? Because I know that the target number here was what 75 would be is it apprehended, turn themselves in, or apprehended by law enforcement?
I think through the chair, Ebony McCann again, I'm sorry. So to your first point, yes, there is a document that the Wayne County Sheriff's Office sends over on a monthly basis where apprehension referrals are tracked. Included in that document is whether or not they were apprehended. So one of our goals or objectives is to determine or to identify whether or not that individual has been apprehended within 30 days. So that the date of the apprehension is noted in that report. Also, the efforts that were made by the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. There's also a section that includes or speaks to whether or not the individual turned themselves in, whether or not they were apprehended in the community. So it's an extensive, detailed report that we receive from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office on a monthly basis. I can extract the data for you and share it on an as-needed basis or monthly if you'd like to see what that looks like. And then to the second part of your question, which was, I forgot. So what was the second part of your question?
I was looking to find out, because the populations are a multitude of populations, are the treatment providers responsible for notifying the sheriff's department in all of these cases? Even if it's probation residential services, a person who simply left residential treatment that may have went there because DWIN identified that that's a need. I just want to make sure that I'm clear in understanding that residential treatment abscond component. How are they connected to the Wayne County Sheriff for apprehension?
So when an individual absconds from a residential treatment facility, we receive a referral, an absconder referral. That referral is sent to Community Corrections in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, and it includes the initial or original BIR order of probation, and also a narrative speaking to the actual event that led up to the person leaving or not being in compliance with the rules and regulations of the facility. Once that information is received, Community Corrections staff reviews the document to ensure that this is a viable referral, one that can be reimbursed. And then the Wayne County Sheriff's Office begins or initiates their apprehension efforts.
Thank you.
Chief, did you have anything to say?
No.
Oh, okay. You were making some motions and I wasn't quite sure.
Well, I was listening, yeah. She explained it, as I expected, her to explain it, and so we are getting the notifications, and I was just making a note, oh, I'm sorry. Casually talking. Yes, I was making a note just to follow up with my team to just see how many we've had over the last couple of months.
So do you get them also?
I do. I don't get them every day, but we get like a quarterly report.
But do you get the absconders? You pick them up? The Detroit police?
My tether unit does, Wayne County.
And then
Sheriff.
they turn them over to the county?
We, depending on the court order, bring them back to jail.
Okay. Okay. I guess I was trying to figure out how the county and the city worked with the absconders. That's what I was trying to differentiate.
So the Wayne County Sheriff's Office is contracted with Community Corrections to go after these absconders.
Okay.
And they are, I believe, probably 99% of them usually go to treatment on tether. And so the city, if they come across someone that may have been entered in a lien system as an absconder, then certainly they arrest them and bring them to jail. But it's our responsibility to go after them once we've been notified that they left the treatment program. And so one of the things, though, that we've recently done is we just open up the ability for every law enforcement agency in Wayne County to have access to our tether system so that in real time, they can be made aware of any conditions that a person on tether might have. with regards to,
They have
what-
access to your central unit?
Yeah, they have the ability.
So they can go into a computer and access,
Yes, they can go, those that have signed an agreement with us, they have the ability to go in, and it's internet-based,
Mhm.
and see who's on Tether,
Hmm.
where they are in real time, the same as we can. The only thing, they cannot write to the system. It's kind of read-only access.
Okay. So for information only.
Information only, because we, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, upload the information with regards to the condition of the tether, whether or not they're on the curfew. And so if, say, they're in Grosse Pointe
Mhm.
or Dearborn,
Mhm.
and they're out, say, at 12 o'clock midnight, and the judge put a stipulation that they have curfew,
Mhm.
that PD can then detain them. Call us and confirm before they bring them in for a violation.
Okay. Good to know.
I have a follow-up question.
Sure.
So with regards, because I know you were talking about the tether population. But we have a population that's inside of residential treatment that may not be on tether. The sheriffs are also working to do apprehensions on that population when they abscond from treatment as well.
Absolutely. And, it's probably very, very few that's not on tether, but anyone in the program, we have our PA 511 tether enforcement unit that are responsible for going after them regardless of tether status.
I'll probably have a follow-up later after the
I
meeting.
saw the smile.
Yeah, you look like you weren't quite there yet.
Right.
I have one question, because we're working, as she mentioned, moving away from the language of the PA 511. So it's generally those individuals who score moderate to high on the compass with regards to their risk.
Mhm.
But we have individuals who are ordered by the court to be assessed for residential substance abuse treatment services, and they go into programs such as this through DWIN, because DWIN has identified that there's truly a need.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to think through the correlation between that population, because we're talking about those who are ordered residential treatment, but may not be deemed to be tethered. They may not be pretrial. They were just sentenced to residential treatment. Is that the same population that would be a part of this program that will result in apprehension if they leave? I think that's the piece I'm more so thinking about, because we have individuals who are directed by the court to go into residential treatment programs, a pretty significant number who may need that in our county, and wanted to find out that correlation, making sure we have, if this is the path of apprehension when they leave, being clear that that is the direction and that's the process that's in place.
Chief Dunlap, do you have something to say on that?
So I want to be sure that I clearly understand what you're saying. Some of these individuals may never, ever get booked into the jail.
Mhm.
The court may say, as a part of the court order, you have to get treatment at Lake Ridge, and DWIN set it up.
Mhm.
I honestly don't know the answer to that question. And maybe Ms. McCann can help us, but I would believe that if it's through the community corrections program, the community corrections program still have the ability to say to our enforcement unit, here, this is an individual that has absconded, although they never hit the jail, we're still responsible for going to look for them.
So through the chair, so two things, as it pertains to, there have been instances where individuals, primarily or specifically through probate court, so through the works of DWIN, have been referred to residential treatment centers. And as a component of the PRS or CRS handbook that the Michigan Department of Corrections issued, individuals who are on pretrial status are eligible for placement in those facilities. So in that instance, that individual would be eligible to be apprehended. I think that the larger question or action item that this body needs to take a deeper look into. The application for funding for fiscal year 2025 is due May 1st of this year. This is absolutely language that we can include in the program description for pretrial services and adult fugitive apprehension with a request to the Michigan Department of Corrections, Office of Community Corrections to include that as an eligibility requirement or that criteria for effort of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office to apprehend. But that needs to be, that language is not yet in our contract. We have as a courtesy in the few instances of the past, just allowed those efforts to take place. But, you know, it's a contract, and so it needs to be embedded in the language. And so I don't think that this body will have an issue with, I don't think Mrs. Robinson would have an issue with drafting that language so that it can be placed into the program description application that this body has to vote on for the upcoming fiscal year funding.
Yes, go ahead.
And I just want to add, I hope that you draft the additional funding also with the language, because the projections that was given of 400, now that I'm hearing what Ms. McCann is saying, certainly don't include all of those individuals who never ever come to the jail, but go directly to treatment as a part of a court order.
Noted.
Thank you.
Okay, next. We're gonna approve the report or receive and file. To approve it. Okay. And we're approving the quarter one report. Thank you. Okay, so I need a motion for the approval of the 2024 quarter one report.
Motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a support?
Second.
Okay. Got it. Are there any other questions or concerns on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Those opposed? The motion carries. Next item.
Item 2, program updates.
Ebony McCann again. So I just wanted to provide this body with updates on community corrections. We have been busy. Started the end of the year. So we started by providing the HEAT training, which was offered. Our wonderful member, Chief Dunlap, made the Division 3 training space available for 3 days. And so we had a training. We extended this training, which is a culturally responsive cognitive behavioral therapy program that was developed by Guy Wheeler and Turpin, whom are professionals or have extensive knowledge and background in cognitive behavioral therapy treatment strategies. These facilitators provided and they certified staff over at 36th District Court, and our very own Pastor Larry Williams was instrumental in kind of making this connection. As a result of the training, we extended the invitation to 30 local criminal justice partners. We had individuals from DWIN, Lake Ridge, Black Family Development, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office have all become certified in this training. I think we, at the conclusion of training, had a total of 12 credentialed HEAT providers added to our local community, which essentially means that those individuals can embark on implementing that programming wherever they are, so they can utilize the information or knowledge that they gained and obtained and become a HEAT provider. What we found was that 3 days just was not enough. The demand for this training, the interest for this training has exceeded what we thought. And so as a result, the Michigan Department of Corrections, Office of Community Corrections in Wayne County is actually partnering with Wayne State University to offer this program in the spring. I scheduled the training the week of winter break. And so a lot of individuals were unavailable to attend, although they wanted to, but they were just unavailable to attend. And so this training will take place in the spring. It more than likely will take place at Wayne State University. And we're going to expand the number of participants as well as include the women version of the program. The HEAT curriculum and the whole premise of us initiating or implementing this program is for this to be the foundation of the violence prevention program that we have all been talking about in this meeting since maybe before the pandemic. We all acknowledged through this body that gun violence and violence as a whole in our community has been a problem, but we needed to find a viable way to attack that issue. Also, through our efforts, we found that this would not be an easy fix, and it was not something that can occur overnight. So here we are almost 3 years later, and through the support of Director Abdul El Sayed, whom is the health director and also the department director of Health, Human, and Veteran Services, we have traction to actually move forward with implementing such program. I know Pastor Williams is going to ask this, so I'll go ahead and speak to it now. Because we've credentialed multiple vendors within our community, we will have to issue an RFP, which will provide everyone with the fair chance to respond to a proposal to provide this service. We have recently, the department has recently engaged in conversations with Michigan United, which is an agency that has a violence prevention focus, where they are planning to go out into the community and host community sessions and seminars on violence prevention and provide gun locks and safety, which I view as an additional support to this proposed program. So I'm extremely excited that community corrections and the work that this body has done and is doing and will continue to do. We are reimagining, and our programs have been reimagined, and we are on the cusp of making a significant change in our community. I know that in the past, Mrs. Robinson has always reminded us to ensure that we are looking at the compass and making sure that our programs are driven by the results of the compass. And our compass assessment identifies criminal involvement, criminal personality, and vocation, education, cognitive behavior as the 3 top needs for Wayne County participants or Wayne County probationers, which just means that we're not providing enough community-based programming. We're not providing enough community-based options that are assisting with helping to change the thoughts and minds of men and women when they're in the community. And we also have to be mindful that we're providing programs that not only will assist with their cognitive restructuring, but also help them identify their needs. They have children. So if I have a child in school and childcare, I can't make it to group. So just go ahead and violate me. And so this program will encompass all of those things. We will make better men and women by providing them with education, with employment opportunities, peer support, and additional services that will help them reintegrate successfully into our community and make us all better as a whole. So again, I'm extremely excited about that. I think I've already shared that the trauma-informed care contract with Black Family Development, we are waiting for Black Family Development to return that contract. Their legal team are currently reviewing that contract. And in addition to providing trauma-informed care for women, we will also be extending the opportunity for men to receive that service as well. I don't have anything else other than to thank you all for your continued commitment, to thank you for your patience as we reimagine community corrections and dealing with our reduced staffing. The possibility of me leaving was shut down quickly. So thank you for dealing with that. Um, And so I am excited about our future. I think that several of your terms are up for expiration at the close of this fiscal year or calendar year. I only hope and pray that you will continue to work with us because I think better days and brighter days are ahead for community corrections. And I would love to have you all right here with me.
And I'd love to have it too. So please don't think about leaving. So when Ebony calls, you just tell her that you'd like to be renewed.
That's it. That's all I need from you.
Go ahead.
Can I address the chair? First of all, Ebony, thanks for all that you do. You're one hard worker, a smart lady,
Yeah.
and that you're on top of it. We see it in our community. I did introduce you to HEAT thinking that that might produce a little bit a pilot program, but you quickly.
She seized upon it
Yeah,
and went higher.
Yeah, went higher. Yeah, thanks to that order. Thank you. But my question is that because we do have these individuals that are criminally minded, so to speak, and got all these different things and trauma going on, is there going to be a partner with her in that? Because there's her portion of HEAT.
Yes.
So is that going to be part of that training as well?
Yes. So we are offering the HERD training in April as well.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Question.
Go ahead.
I know you mentioned that an RFP would have to be released. Do we have timeframes on when that may occur?
So I know that the Wayne County Executive has efforts. There's a task force that has been developed, and I'm just waiting for direction from my leadership for the green light to go ahead and produce or submit that RFP. But it is and has been on standby. So once permission is given, it's my hope to have it submitted before the end of this fiscal year. So before October 1st, the Office of Community Corrections understands that we budgeted $322,000, of which 29 has been utilized for the training. But the Office of Community Corrections realizes and acknowledges that we won't expend those funds, but they are more than willing to allow us to continue requesting the funding amount to carry into fiscal year 2025.
So basically, at this point, we're not anticipating that we'll have the community violence prevention program in place for the next fiscal year. It sounds like it will be in 2025.
So we are currently in 24. It is, obviously my hope that we can get it, but as you know, the RFP process here is lengthy. And so we have to first submit or issue the RFP, give respondents the opportunity to respond to the RFP, select a successful proposer, and then enter into contract negotiations. And so that can take a significant amount of time. It's my hope with most that, we do enter into this agreement before October 1st, but what we don't want to do is to just issue something that is not comprehensive. We want to ensure that all of the services and all of the ideas and programming that we anticipate or that we know will be beneficial to our community are implemented or incorporated in that document so that we won't have to go back in front of the commission to ask for amendments or modifications. When we do hit the ground running, we want to be able to have a program that it has been curated specifically for our participants and meets and address all the needs or all of their needs.
And we don't have the ability, going back to Pastor Williams' point, to pilot something in advance of that.
So because we offered training to multiple vendors, there are multiple vendors that are capable of providing this service. And because of that, it is not considered sole source. And so we will have to issue an RFP just to provide everyone who has become credentialed within our county the opportunity to provide or submit a proposal or a response to the request.
Of course, I back on her point. I guess I don't see why we would have to wait until, I guess my point is there ought to be a way you can do something on an interim basis rather than hold up the whole program until you get someone on there permanently.
So, I mean, Pastor Williams is at the table. He has staff who have been credentialed in HEAT. If he wanted to, on an interim basis, implement that curriculum in jail to see what it looks like, aside from his cognitive behavioral therapy, so opposed to using the change curriculums, if they'd like to utilize or implement HEAT, then, but they will still get paid for the services that have been billed or identified in their actual contract proposal. So not him being able to bill for cognitive behavioral therapy sessions in HEAT additionally. So it'd still just be one payment. I think that I would feel comfortable if and I guess we can explore as to whether or not we have grounds into a comparable source agreement, which that essentially means that this one provider has been identified as being able to provide all of the services that we'd like them to provide. And as a result, we'd like to enter into an agreement with them. But because I pride myself on the relationships that I've built with our vendors, I just think that it would be in our best interest to allow everyone who's been certified to have the opportunity to respond to this proposal. But I will take the board's direction and
No,
go
no, no,
whichever route.
No, I'm not saying that they don't have a chance.
Yes.
I'm just saying, you're saying that this might not happen until October.
Mhm.
And then by the time it's up and going, it might be, as she said, 2025. So is there something we can do while, while you're going through this? You get what I'm saying?
I think we can explore that, and I think we can talk to see what that looks like.
While.
And just to make
while-
sure that we are in alignment with everything we're supposed to be in alignment with. But
Sure.
I think that's a discussion that we can have.
Yeah, let me add is that when I introduced the program to you,
You keep saying
Coming
that.
back
we
there.
were doing it for the last 2 years, but we did it along with Judge Holmes. Judge Holmes instituted this program 2 years ago.
Yes.
And so her persons coming out of the jail, they come into our program, and this is where we institute HEAT.
Mhm.
And the HER program as well. It's a little different for her though. But so we are not doing it when they come out of your program into our community, when they come out of the jail plus program into our community program, we utilize the HEAT program for these individuals that comes out of there. We don't get paid for the community program because you haven't instituted that yet. But we recognize that they're coming out of the jail and they were doing the change program, but we recognize the criminology thinking and all that. So we instituted this. So it is an up and running program already. It's easy enough to utilize different dollars that, even though you're saying those dollars aren't coming from that yet.
Mhm.
So it's an easy thing to show. And does it work? And, does it work in this particular setting, which we shows it does. Judge Holmes, utilizes it, and it's coming out of the jail and all that. Go ahead.
I think just a point of clarification, I don't want to confuse the two. In reference to the program that Judge Holmes operates, those individuals have been or are under the jurisdiction of 36th District Court.
I get it.
For PA 511, for the program or the individuals that this body provides jurisdiction over, these are sentenced felons. And so we just have to be mindful of the discussion. The individuals that Judge Holmes provides jurisdiction, they have not been bound over to Third Circuit Court. They are not under the supervision of the Michigan Department of Corrections. And so that's what distinguishes us. And for years, and I'm sure there are people on this board that can speak to back in the day when Third Circuit was Recorder's Court and things of that nature, and then we merged. And so now we have a system where we're separate, but equal, but we're separate. We just have different administrators or authorizers or jurisdictions that provide oversight of those two separate entities. So 36th District, Third Circuit, I think we just keep in mind that we are responsible for individuals that have been sentenced at Third Circuit.
So,
I'm waiting.
so,
Madam Chair?
yes,
Yeah, I wanted to just respond as Ebony McCann did, just to make sure that the board is mindful that, you know, the program that Pastor Williams was talking about, it's a 36 district court program. And the folks in the Wayne County Jail are not just 36 district court offenders.
mhm,
And if we're talking about it being the 36 district court program in the community, then fine. But if we're looking at bringing it into the jail, then we need to consider other courts as well when we bring it into the jail.
okay,
If that's the conversation and the thought about starting a pilot, because we were approached before, and as I indicated, we are the Wayne County Sheriff, not the 36th District Court or Detroit Sheriff. And we don't want to put the sheriff of the county in any position where other communities are looking for these services, and we are just restricting and regulating it to the city of Detroit.
okay. I guess that makes sense. Okay, okay.
I have nothing further.
So are there any other questions or concerns from members? Okay, is this,
That was just for information.
this is just for information only?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we just receive and file.
Yes.
Okay, do we need a motion for receive and file? Okay. All right, so that was just information. What's the next item?
Item 3, 2024 meeting dates.
So I had the opportunity to speak with Shannon Guyton, who works closely, she works within a commissioner's office. And we were able to identify the remaining meeting dates for the duration of this fiscal year. And so I will share those dates with you all electronically so that you can place them, well, I actually send them in the calendar, and you can determine whether or not, as time presents, whether or not you can come or not. I would ask for the next meeting, which is April 24th, that as many of you as possible are present. That is a meeting in which we will review and approve the fiscal year 2025 funding application. So proposed budget allocations, proposed programming. And so that is typically a lengthy meeting. And so we'll see if we can maybe move it up to accommodate our schedules.
At least one. What is it? What is it
It's scheduled tentatively at 2 p.m.
Let's, does anyone have a problem with meeting at 1?
I don't. That works best for
1?
me.
It's best, yes.
And I will send those dates out, the remaining dates out to you. Nothing further.
Okay. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Madam Clerk?
Item F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee,
Okay,
before the board.
I've not been informed of any. Ebony, have you?
I have not. I don't want to put him on the spot. I don't know if Chief Dunlap would like to share his future plans
Oh,
for, you don't want to share it yet?
No, man, go
For
ahead.
the DSC?
Detroit at work.
Yes,
for what?
Detroit at Work.
Okay.
So
I thought
Our
you were
future
gonna
plans,
tell me
then.
she's retiring.
No.
So what Ms. McCann is referring to, the sheriff's office has recently partnered with the city of Detroit, Detroit at Work program to bring in a jobs training program for inmates that are in and leaving the Wayne County Jail. This program was funded to the tune of, I think, a total of $4 million for them to, over the next 2 years, identify roughly 200 participants to participate, whereby while incarcerated, organizations will come inside of the jail to do job training that consists of soft skills, trades, truck driving, I think it's warehousing and merchandising. And in addition to that training, they're going to bring a holistic approach. If there is a mental health need, physical health need, those organizations are going to address those things as well for those people that are enrolled in the program. And when they leave the jail, they're also going to be partnered up with a job and life coach
Mm,
to help track and monitor them and hopefully avoid and reduce recidivism. And so we're in the progress right now of identifying potential participants. They have to be sentenced to the Wayne County Jail for a minimum of 60 days to be eligible to participate in the program. And that program was due to start actually this month, but because of the delay and the slip in the opening of the new jail, we haven't been able to really get it off the ground. And so we are starting the program by screening and identifying participants for enrollment.
okay, so I remember something of this sort back some years ago, that you were in partnership with Wayne County Community College. It's the Sheriff's Department, Wayne County Community College. And who was the other person, other? It was a work training, but maybe, I think these were individuals who were being released, maybe, because they could take classes, training classes at Wayne County Community College. I can't remember exactly. It was when Benny was here.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. There's a few programs that we've had, Commissioner. I do know that we had an intern program whereby students at Wayne County Community College was able to do some.
I think this was when the persons would be released from the jail. They would go into they would be able to, like some of them got their GED and all that sort of thing while they were
Okay.
while they were
Yes.
incarcerated. So they would be able to continue that education at Wayne County Community College, as well as job training and truck driving and things like that, teaching them a skill.
So I do remember those that were enrolled in the GED program could also be enrolled in some of the college courses and continue their education.
Mhm.
I don't think we ever got the truck driving or any of the skilled trades up off the ground.
Okay.
And so this is an opportunity. I understand that one of the vendors that Detroit at Work, Sir Metro, and Southwest Solutions, one of the vendors that they've identified is the vendor that actually started the truck driving program at Wayne County Community College District.
Okay. Okay. Sounds wonderful. Anything that would decrease recidivism, I'm all for, because many times when persons are released and they have nowhere to go, they end up back in jail. They not only do they have because they're not able to take care of themselves, they have no job and they have no job training. So so if we can provide anything of that sort, while they are incarcerated, they would be getting this training. Is that what you're saying?
I agree. I've always said over the now 37 years that I've been in law enforcement that, a crime prevention strategy that does not also focus on the needs of the community, such as jobs and employment, is not going to be a very successful strategy until we acknowledge such. And I was able to see that firsthand when I first took my first command as a commander, whereby a new vendor moved in, an auto parts supplier moved in the community and bought over 100 employees from communities outside of Detroit, and place was getting robbed every other week, and made a decision to hire people in the community, and quickly those B&Es stopped.
Yeah.
And it's a true story.
Oh, I believe it. No, I truly believe it, because many of them, they don't necessarily want to go back to jail. and they really want to be able to support themselves. But if they got to go out and commit crimes because they don't have a job or any job training skills, then that's what's going to happen. They're going to end up back there again. And I think that they would prefer that they get these skills or job training, education while they're incarcerated, so that when they get out, they can go. And from the ones that I've talked to who have been able to make that transition, they're just as happy as can be.
Yes.
They have no intention of doing anything to go back to jail because they love it. They love the fact that they are now, they have a job that pays their bills and that provides them with, money to go out and buy stuff rather than steal.
Call it survival. It's
Yeah.
a means to survive. Crime is crime and is, not acceptable.
Yeah.
But certainly for some of those individuals, it's called survival. And I can't repeat or cite the lyrics from the song, but there was a rap song called Survival that deals
I
with
remember
the
that.
reality of life.
I remember
And,
that.
it's called survival.
Yeah. So kudos. I think that when is this supposed to be up and running?
Well, we've already started, as I indicated. In fact, last week, we submitted to them a list of every person that's sentenced to the Wayne County Jail. I just received, I believe it was yesterday, the names for the vendors that's going to come in and screen these individuals to be cleared to come into the jail, to start interviewing and identifying those that are interested. So
Wow.
I do expect probably before the end of next month, they're going to have a minimum of 30 to 40 people
Wow.
ready to kick this off. And we're working with some of the stakeholders. There probably will be a press release on this, but we're
Love it.
still working out the logistics to see who needs to be involved. And I understand that this is one of the first programs of this type, I know, in the state of Michigan and possibly in the country. And Senator Peters somehow was involved with assisting the city in getting the funding.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
so I'm sure there's more detail to come.
Absolutely. Well, keep us
For sure.
apprised. And I certainly would like to know about it as we move forward.
Well, some of people could be potential vendors. Detroit at Work is the organization that's coordinating that.
Mhm.
And certainly, we're going to make sure that people that have already been providing services to the jail have an opportunity to participate in providing those services.
Makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that was a piece of good
Thank you,
news.
Chief.
Yes, yes.
I was gonna share chair.
Yes.
Coming up in April of 2024, this year, April 27th, the tentative date will be the Department of Corrections will have our Wayne County Job Fair. Again, and in that job fair, we invite employers throughout the metropolitan area to have the opportunity to meet and interview
Mhm.
our probationers and parolees who are under supervision with the Department of Corrections. So we identify individuals who are job ready, job interested, and job committed to come out and meet with some employers who are really ready to hire. So more information will be coming out about that. And then we're also working with an agency called the People's Action Community Violence Intervention Program. They're located in the Brightmoor community, and they service probationers who've been convicted of gun-related and violent offenses who live in specific zip codes. So it's a very targeted population of probationers, and they connect them to resources in the community, provide case management services, mentorship, and connection with job opportunities. They actually will mentor individuals and then bring them into the organization as an employee after they've worked with them for some time. One of the benefits we found from the program, they have individuals who were previously incarcerated that are serving as mentors and really invested in this population of trying to help them move forward. The added component is that they truly connect with the family as well. So not just that individual, they go to individuals' homes, they meet with their family members, and really try to make a difference in changing that person's path currently. So we're looking forward to some positive things coming from that relationship. We just started with them towards the tail end of last year through our involvement with Detroit One. That includes the Detroit Police Department, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and various community partners who come together with a targeted population who've been identified as again, violent offenders who live in certain zip codes in the city of Detroit, and just trying to mentor them in group mentorship, in individual one-on-one mentorship, and in connecting them to resources in the community. So I'm looking forward to this body being able to have a community violence prevention program that will expand beyond just specific zip codes, and truly trying to make a difference there. So that's just some insight on some things that we're currently doing and looking forward to. Coming up on March 17th, we're going to have a Wayne County Community Resource session. We do these sessions every other month, where we invite community partners to present to our probation and parole officers throughout Wayne County so they can learn about the resources and services that are available for our population. So we've invited Pastor Williams with Lakewood Ridge Village to come out and be able to share with our staff the services that they offer and provide so that those who can benefit from those services can be connected promptly. So just wanted to share a little bit about some things that we're trying to also do on our side as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
Love that too. Okay. And you will keep us apprised of that as you move forward.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Moving on to item G, public comments.
Okay.
There's no,
Is there anyone, okay, are the lines open?
the lines are open. There are no participants online wishing to speak.
Okay. No participants online?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So at this time, we have, we are allowing public comment. So if there's anyone either here in the room here, or online, or on the phone, would like to make a comment at this time, please speak. Okay, we're second call for public comment. If you have a comment at this time, and you are either, if you're on Zoom, online, or on a phone, or here in the office here, please speak. Last call for public comment. Hearing none.
Item H, adjournment.
Okay. Move adjournment. Do I have anybody to move adjournment? Okay. Been properly moved and second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.